Tina Tubers. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and like and give me a comment. I know comments stretching it. Thank you, Dottie, for your sweet comment yesterday. So on with the news. I'm a little tardy in talking about this, but Queen Elizabeth's passing is sad. 96 years old, everybody expects it, but she was quite a lady. And I would say, in my opinion, in my lifetime, and what I've experienced and learned and seen, she's the strongest woman. She's the strongest woman out there. And she runs a pretty close, I mean, Maya Angelou to me runs a close second. That woman was amazing too. There's a lot of amazing women, but to be able to rule over a monarchy for 70 years and go through what she went through as a woman and stay at it day in and day out. And she was criticized many times. Even I kind of thought she was a little... When I went to London for the first time, I had a part-time job ahead of time as a temporary secretary in London with my girlfriend. And then Sean decided to go with us. And when we got to London, I hated it. First of all, the weather was terrible. Rainy, cloudy, you know, just what I hated about Detroit. And then the people were so closed off, never smiled, hated the food. But let me say this about that. We were students we had a student loan ticket for airfare and for the train transportation. So we didn't get to experience the best of London because we were doing it on $5 a day, more or less. So, and a little backstory on that, maybe I'll include some pictures. I was 19, and had been out of school for a year and a half, I don't know, maybe 2 years. 1972, yeah, 2 years. And I was working for a hotel developer in downtown Detroit. That was an experience of its own. And when I decided to do this, first of all, it wasn't my idea. I'm a follower, but I love to join in. So Sally had already decided that she was going there on her own, by herself. And her and I took 3 years of business classes from 9th to 12th grade. And we were always together in the same class. And we were very serious about our career as administrative assistant, quote, glorified secretary. So she had already done the paperwork on her own. What a go-getter. So I said, I want to do that. So I followed suit with my paperwork and got accepted and got my temporary papers. Then Sean decided she wanted to come. She didn't want to work, but she wanted to tour Europe. So off we all three go. Oh my God. Anyway, we get to London and we set out the next day. I decided right away that I didn't want to stay there. I just said, I'm not working, I'm going to travel. Sean and I are going to travel. And so the first time we went to you have to go fly to get over to Amsterdam from London. And then from Amsterdam, you can take the trains all the way through Europe. So we had to stand in line for a student ticket. I'll never forget, it was $14.95 to fly to Amsterdam. Which people, when you're living on $5 a day, that's a little chunk of money. So we stood in line, and there was a long line. And so we got our tickets. The next day we had to go to the airport, went to the airport, went to the wrong airport. There's Heathrow, and then there's another one. Oh boy, I don't remember the name of it. I should, it's famous. Anyways, we were at the wrong airport. So we had to lose the money, lose the ticket, and stand in line all over again that day and buy another ticket. So what happens in Europe on your first trip when you're young and you don't know what you're doing is you make mistakes. You just make mistakes. You just gotta make mistakes. So we finally got to Amsterdam, and that was amazing. And we were so young and stupid that we had problems with guys following us in the train station, guys trying to feel us up. It just was insane. It really was scary. I mean, the cab drivers drove on the other side, right? So when you're standing on the street and they're turning left, they would reach out their hands to grab your boobs or grab you. It was gross. But if you were with a man, they didn't touch you because they always escorted their women on the streets. They were never alone unless they were black sheep, women of the night, all that kind of stuff. But so they knew when you were by yourself without a man that you were, and they knew Americans. They just knew. So that was a little frightening. We bought swords. You know, the swords with the sheath. We bought swords at a farmer's market or some kind of market, and we bought swords, and that way we could walk the streets at night. Honest to God, I said I did not give up my car, my job, and everything I had to get here to close myself in a hotel room at 5 o'clock at night. So thank God, you know, we made it. But I'll tell you what, my mother said when I got home, if I had known what I know now, you would have never gone. And we're lucky we didn't get, you know, and more. Their fascist movement was going on. They'd send water bombs down into the crowd and knocked a girl out that was sitting on the steps with me, right next to me. I thought when it hit that it was glass. I don't know. It just, you're in shock. And she went down. And so we were right behind her trying to load her into the ambulance. And honest to God, there were guys trying to grab at us, our butts and boobs, while we were trying to help her into the ambulance. Animals. But that didn't deter us from having a good time. We had a good time. We met some fabulous people. We were in a train station in Innsbruck, Austria. And what you did was you just looked for people holding signs or pictures up of their home to stay with them. And so my one girlfriend said, this guy, let's go here. He's holding up a beautiful picture of a Swiss chalet in the mountains. And she said, let's go. And he smiled and we went. I was in the front seat. She was in the back. I thought, you know, in my mind, I go, you know, we are talking English. We don't understand German. And he keeps looking at us. And so I go, we're going to end up being tied up in a chair in the mountains somewhere. Nobody will hear from us again. Well, God was with us. Thank you, God. And we pulled up to this house, and it was this most beautiful home. And he takes us upstairs to our bedroom. And it was just like out of Heidi. It overlooked the Swiss Alps. It had that downy, huge comforter that you could, it's like a cloud, oh my God. You can't even buy them like that here. Maybe you can. So we are sitting on the balcony talking to each other when we first get there. He comes and he hands us a guest book. And he goes, see, and what he wanted us to see was all the many people that had come through their home and stayed as their guest. Students mostly. And so he was trying to say, you know, you're safe, you're fine. We ended up staying, instead of one night, we stayed, I think, 3 to 4 nights. And the only thing you could get to was a restaurant up on top of the mountain further. Heidi all the way, like the goats were in, oh my God. And then we smoked cigarettes back then, so we had to go down the mountain to town and then hike back up for cigarettes, please. But it was just fabulous. And when he took us to the train station, we all cried. and his little daughter, like, they would serve us breakfast, then it was included with the $2 to stay overnight, and she would even do our laundry and hang up our bikini underwear, and he would point at them. And it's her daughter, their daughter, she was like 10, maybe 11 or 12, I don't know. But anyways, I'm having so much fun talking to you and reminiscing that I passed my exit. And it's a big, long ways till I get to the next exit. What a loser. Anyway, she taught us some German so that we could at least communicate. So that was cool. That was very cool. Yeah, so anyway, we had a lot of experiences there, let me tell you. Whew. But it was wonderful. It really was wonderful. And that was really the last part of my life before I had to be a grown-up and experience heavy-duty stuff. Like, I came back home, and my mom and stepdad had sold our house that I was born in, and we're moving to Florida. And I knew this was going to happen, but it's still, for me to only have 2 weeks to find a place to live, get a job, and buy a car was a little overwhelming. And came home to my boyfriend, who was seeing somebody the whole time I was gone. And we were gone, I think we were gone 9 weeks, 10 weeks, I'm not sure how long we were gone, maybe 8 weeks, I don't remember. But I came home early and didn't tell my mother, and went camping with my boyfriend. And when I first got home, I had made an appointment with my gynecologist because I thought there was a chance I might be pregnant, because I didn't have a period the whole time I was gone, and my stomach was out to, it looked 3 months pregnant. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, this is always what happens. They called to confirm my appointment with my mother. Well, I mean, at my home, the number I gave them didn't have cell phones. And they called my mom and said that we're just confirming Christina's appointment, blah, blah, blah. She said she's not here, she's in Europe. They said, no, she called 3 days ago for this appointment. So I was caught. So I had to deal with that. And then the boyfriend, when we were camping, he told me that he didn't love me anymore, and he was seeing a neighbor friend. So that's what that was all about. This is bad. So I'm just turning around and going the other way. So yeah, so that was devastating, because he was the really first true love of my life. So, that was devastating. I'm going to close the video for today. Remember, be good to yourself, be good to others, and God will bless your efforts. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.